Well, hello and welcome to our live stream. Welcome to YouTube and all those good people out there. Hope everybody's well. I'm Paul Archer, but you can read all that down below and all those ticker things that are going on nowadays. So let's entertain you with our last live stream of the year, because 2021 is beckoning. I'm not going to say, you know, it's been a horrible year, because it has been a horrible year, let's be honest about it. But today's the shortest day. Not a lot of people know that. Shortest day means that from tomorrow onwards, it gets brighter, which is lovely, isn't it? If you crave sunshine like I do, especially. What else has been going on? Well, not a lot really, as always the case, isn't it? There's a talk about taxing the rich to pay off the debt. I read about that at the weekend. Apparently, if you take the people in the UK who have more than £500,000 worth of assets, which if you've got a property in the southeast is probably most people, now if they tax those people by between 1 and 3% of their wealth above that figure, then they're going to pay off the entire national debt. Now, isn't that a great idea? It's robbing the rich to pay for the poor, I think, isn't it? But I don't know if that will take off. I think it's quite highly political, but that just tickled me. Anyway, big thing later this week coming up on Friday called Christmas. I hope you've got it all prepared and as much as you possibly can. I saw a cartoon this morning on LinkedIn which had a turkey on the table, and around the table were monitors and iPad screens, and everybody was joining everybody for Christmas. But it's like that, isn't it? Got a couple of topics for you today. The first one is finishing off on our welfare benefits for you, just to update you on that. The second one is for those people out there listening who want a career in this sector. I want to give you some information, some ideas that's going to make you think about how you wish to move forward in your career in financial services. Got some good stuff coming. I might go on a little bit longer than 20-25 minutes or so. So let's get on with our first topic then, our first major topic of our live stream. And what I want to talk about now is finish off on welfare benefits, take a look at what I call the extra income welfare benefits, because you know I can't really think of a better title to it really. We're talking here about welfare benefits, of course, so let's put the title up there on the big whiteboard. Welfare benefits. I've topped up my ink this morning. Now, as you probably know, I'm into recycling, as everybody should be, and these pens that I use, I recycle. I put extra ink in them so you don't throw them away, so nothing goes into landfill. Anyway, welfare benefits. We're talking here about the ones that provide you with extra income over and above all the other benefits that we've been talking about along the way. Now, I've got four for you that I want to take you through briefly, because not a lot of information is covered in the exam on these ones. Now, the first one is a bit of a legacy benefit, and that's known as the income support. Now, income support's been around for decades. If not even more. I remember talking about income support benefits back in the late 80s when I was working at the Pru, and I was talking about it then. But income support is a means-tested benefit, massively means-tested, available to anybody from 16 to state retirement age, so it's pretty much available to all people, really. It's designed for people working less than 16 hours a week. So if you're less than 16 hours a week of working, it's designed for you to top up your income, pretty much, is what it's designed to do, because it's not means tested. If you're not qualifying for any of the other benefits, then you can certainly qualify for income support as well. Now, it's designed for you, so you're not claiming any of the other benefits. That's the whole point behind it. And it's tax-free as well, but it's not a lot of money. But what it does do is it opens up the gates to other types of benefits as well. That's income support. Don't worry too much about that one now. Income support's a bit of a legacy one as well. The big one for you, and I'll get this in different colour for you, is child benefit. Now, whether that's one that we can categorise under this extra income, I don't know, but child benefit is certainly one to think about, because child benefit's given to people who have children. Obviously, that's why they call it child benefit. So it's payable to the parent or the carer of children under the age of 20, unless they're in full-time education like university, when you can still claim it as well. Now, it's not reliant upon national insurance benefits or national insurance contributions. So if I put in there NICs, no. So anybody will get it, which is interesting. It's not means tested either. So it's not means tested. There you go, not means tested, which is good news as well. So put a little cross next to that one. But it kind of is, but we'll talk about it in a minute. It's not a means test as in, they check you out, etc., because it's not reliant upon national insurance. That's the whole point. And it's tax-free. So you get the money without having to pay tax on it. So they're like the big categories. Other than that, you've got to be aware of how it's been withdrawn for people on high income. So it kind of is means tested, but not strictly speaking. And what they do here is if you're earning more than £50,000, if there's one person in the household who earns more than £50,000, they operate this thing called the chargeback system. And broadly, if you earn more than £100 above £50,000 a year, then they will charge back 1% of the child benefit they've given you. So effectively, anybody over 60,000, there you go, will receive no child benefit. That's pretty much the way it works. But £50,000 is when it starts to be reduced, and then you get a charge back up to £60,000. Now, the key with this one is if you're earning more than 50 grand, just don't apply for it. Say to the DWP that I don't want it, don't give it to me, because they'll give it to you and then charge it back later, which can be a right old pickle if it's a monthly figure that's turned into an annual amount of money. So be careful of that one as well. That's child benefit. Now, the other one, again, different color pen for you, do this one in red for you, is known as tax credits. So let's talk about tax credits. Tax credits were introduced by Gordon Brown back in the New Labour days as a way of encouraging people to go back to work, but paying them extra money to encourage them to do so. So they went back to work on a salary which wasn't so good. Then they got tax credits to help them out. There's broadly two types of tax credit. There's the child tax credit, and then there's the working tax credit. They're slightly different things. Obviously, the title tells you what it is, isn't it? A child tax credit is given to people that have children. Obviously, otherwise they wouldn't have called it child tax credit. They would call it dog tax credit or something like that. It's given to people that have children. And the working tax credit is given to people who don't have children and who are working more than 30 hours a week. So as you can appreciate, these are designed for people who are working quite a few hours as well, and it tops up their income. Now, the amount paid is varied according to situations, of course. It's paid directly by HMRC to the person now, so it goes straight into your bank account. And there's extras available, for example, if you have disabled children as well. So a pretty good benefit for people that need it. So that's tax credits. Makes sense, isn't it? It has been replaced, though, by universal credit. Let's just put that one in there for you. Universal credit, of course, the big one. That's the one that replaces all of the benefits that are non-NICS, national insurance contribution based benefits. Universal credit's taken over all those things, so it's replaced tax credit. Now, the last one for you, which I shall put in green because I can, and I like this one, it's called housing benefits. Now, housing benefits are the extra benefit for people to help them with their housing. Again, that's why they call it that. It's means tested for tenants, and it allows you to have your rent payable where you need to as well. It opens up the gates and the passports for other types of benefit as well. So claim your housing benefit to help you out. We're not talking about mortgage benefit. That's a different one altogether. That's support for mortgage interest, which we talk about on a different video for you. This is for people who are renting, which helps them out with their rent. Private tenants, pretty much. Okay, so they're the welfare benefits for income. I hope that has been useful for you to top it all up. As always, do check the details, make sure nothing's changed, but we'll keep you posted of things that go on. Bye. Great, fantastic, nice. Let's now move on to another topic for you. Let me get on to another topic that I find really interesting, because it's all about careers now, you see. All about careers. Got myself a new rubber. It's Christmas time for me. Let's see if that rubs out this really well. Look at that. That's not too bad, not too shabby. Let's talk about your career. Now, lots of people watching these videos on YouTube or on our website, wherever you get to watch these, are studying for their CeMAPs or keeping themselves up to date on their CeMAP, because they've looked at the mortgage world as a way in which to earn a good living. So I want to talk about your career now. I want to talk about how you want to progress. I'll give you some thinking, really, because I'm going to help you to set your goals. for 2021. So I'm calling this goals, really. That's where we're going with this one, for 2021. Unless you set them, if you don't set them, you should always set them around Christmas. Set them at some point over the Christmas holiday for your next year. Set your goals, not your strategy or your objectives, but set your goals. Remember, when you set your goals, don't worry about how you're going to get them or get to the goal. Just set it and then worry about how to do it later. I can talk to you about how to do that another time. But we're talking here about MA to IFA is what I'm talking about here. Mortgage advisor to IFA. Lots of people become mortgage advisors, but I think this is the first step. It's easier exams. It's not a difficult step to get into. Mortgage advising is not that complicated, if truth be told. Mortgage broking can be, but mortgage advising itself is not a complicated area. Unless you get into some complex areas like holiday buy-to-lets or expat mortgages or buy-to-lets or raising finance, second charges, can get very complicated then. Of course it can, but it's about lending and borrowing. Now, some research was done, which I read about at the weekend, by Paul Harper Search. So it's a search company who specialise in that area. So, they are interested in this topic. And they've got some numbers here which are quite illuminating. And what they've noticed in the last year, that the average salary for an IFA has gone up by 9%. So let's put some numbers up for you. So the average salary we're talking about here, so let's talk about salaries. I'm not talking about self-employed here. I'm talking about salary for an IFA. It now is at £64,000. It's gone up by 9%. It's increased dramatically over the few years. In fact, since RDR in 2013, the salaries for IFAs have gone upwards quite considerably, which is interesting, isn't it? 2012, if you wanted to have the numbers for 2012, to give you an idea of where it's gone, it increased from 35,000. These are average salaries, by the way. So it's rocketed in 8 years. It's virtually almost doubled, isn't it? Now, a quarter of advisors are earning over £100,000 as a basic salary. These are IFAs, by the way, chartered IFAs, financial wealth planners. Now, that's a lot of money if you're looking for a salary as the main motivator for you to progress, and good for that as well. So let's take a look at where we're going with this and what your thinking is. Now, let's take a look at the supply side. Take a look at the supply side here. In other words, what causes this kind of number? What causes this salary? And what makes you want to think about possibly getting into this area, supply side? Now, according to the FCA register, so pucker details here for you. As at last month, there were 27,500 financial advisors, IFAs, in the marketplace. Not a lot. Surprises lots of people, that. Now, from that, there were 5,000, give you the exact figures here, 5,236 firms. So they're the people and they're the companies. So as you can appreciate, therefore, only 11% of advice is given by firms with more than 5 advisors in it. So the majority of financial advisors are small, on their own, kind of one-man bands at the moment. And each financial advisor tends to cope with about 150 to 200 clients. That's all they can handle at any given time. And the reason for that, of course, is they service clients in that area. It's not like a mortgage where you have a remortgage maybe in a couple of years' time. These people get service monthly, quarterly, half yearly. And when you have a client, it's a bit like a dentist client. You regularly see them, you regularly see progress as well. So that's the supply side. Now, as you can appreciate, if supply is limited but demand is high, then price goes up. Hence, the salary is going up. You see, that's the whole point behind it, because of the supply side. And you might think, well, hold on, that seems to me like a good sector to get into. So let's take a look at demand. What's happening to demand? Let's put demand side over here as well, shall we? Let's put a little bit of demand going in for you. Demand. Now, we went for a little walk the other day. That's all we can do at the moment, isn't it? We're locked down. And we passed some nice properties here in Cheltenham, part of the park area. And we passed some lovely properties over by the park, which are just great big mansions. And Shelley said to me, I said, it'd be lovely to have a house like that. I said, yeah, it is. But most of those are inherited. Most of those kind of properties are inherited wealth. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to get much of an inheritance because that's the way I am. But some people do, and they reckon in the next 20 to 30 years, £6 trillion is going to be inherited. 6 trillion. Now, okay, we can't even imagine that kind of number, is it? That's just massive. I mean, the gross domestic product of the UK is about 2 trillion. That's everything. So there's a lot of money is going to be inherited. And of course, this money is going to be inherited from the older generation down to the younger generation, and then they'll need to be advised upon it. There's a lot of money there that will need to have financial planning advice around it. So demand is enormous for financial planning. Absolutely enormous. And I know that technology will take care of some of that, but a lot of those people will want to see people. And that's the whole point behind it. So what's the challenge then? Well, the challenge, you see, is that the current IFAs cannot cope with the amount of demand. Supply is limited, demand's massive. They can't cope with the demand and the increased demand coming in. And there's a few other issues coming in here now. So let's talk about some of the challenges, and we'll put these in red over here. Let's put the challenges down here. I want to build a little story for you on this one, the challenges. Now, one of the biggest challenges at the moment is costs of setting up a business and handling yourself as an IFA. There's a lot of one-man bands, one-women bands out there who are network members or whatever. And the costs of running a practice, if you like, are escalating. It's the costs, not so much the advice, it's the ancillary costs. So you've got the professional indemnity insurance, you've got the financial services compensation scheme levy, it keeps going up as well. You've got FCA levies, you've got compliance levies. The actual cost of running a business is getting higher and higher and higher. And many small firms on their own, if you like, are seeking ways out of this, and they're selling their services, they're selling their business to large IFA firms. And there's a lot of firms now amongst these numbers here who are hoovering up these small IFAs and their client bases. And they're creating massively large client bases. So you've got a firm, for example, that might buy 20, 30, 40, 50 small IFA practices, and suddenly there's a lot of clients that need to be looked after and managed. And they, of course, will take on employed IFAs or wealth planners, call them what you like, who will then service those clients. Remember, they can only ever handle about 150 to 200 clients at any given time. So you're starting to see the problems coming in. Now, there's a lot of retirees from these one-man bands. Our industry, financial services, is heavily weighted to the older age group. These were people brought into the industry in the 80s and 90s when I started. People that worked for the Prudential, the Pearl, the Co-op, and the big banks had their own sales forces. They trained people, recruited them, trained them, paid them a salary, and then a few years later they all buggered off to set up on their own and earn a lot more money. Now they're all in their 50s, 60s. I mean, I'm 57, so I'm an average age of an IFA. They're going to be retiring in the next 5-10 years, flogging their business to these big firms, but also they're just going to come out of the industry. They're going to sell up. So they reckon 60% of the current IFA population is going to be retiring. Massive figures of leaving. So not only have we got demand increasing, supply is actually going to decrease with the number of IFAs available. So there's this massive advisor shortage now that we're all worrying about very much. So let's put that over here. The advisor shortage. There you go. So where are they getting the advisors from? Let's put that in there for you. The advisor shortage is the big issue that we got. Well, the big problem we've got, of course, is recruiting, taking on new IFAs. Many companies have academy situations now where they take on new people, they put them through an academy, which basically gets them through the various exams up to chartered status. There's a number of exams involved here. And there's some big firms doing it, Quilter, St James's Place, and they're paying them as well. They're paying you a decent stipend or basic salary in order to train, and they're paying for your exams, because obviously what they want is once you've all passed, you will then have some loyalty towards the firm that took you on. So there are one or two of these situations coming in. But the biggest problem we've got is to be a financial advisor or an IFA, call themselves what you like, has a number of skill sets that are very unusual in combination. So there's broadly 4 skill sets required for an IFA to be successful. And these skill sets don't always come in one package, and that's the challenge that we have. So let's see if you've got this. First of all, the first skill set is what I call empathy, or communication skills, or people skills. The ability to talk, create rapport, build trust, communicate with people, discuss things with people, build a connection either on video or in person. Doesn't really make a lot of difference. Obviously, skills on video are very different, of course they are. But that empathy kind of way, because you're dealing with people who have this wealth that need advice. That's the first key skill, which is often forgotten about, particularly from certain types of character, maybe some of the power planners who don't have any client-facing roles. They don't have that skill. In fact, power planners, there's quite a lot of power planners available. A lot of them don't have the empathy, the communication skills that goes with a successful business. The second one is analytical. Yeah, analytical. Yeah, I'll just squeeze that one in for you. In other words, the ability to have attention to detail, the ability to work out numbers, to be mathematically very able to work with the detail, to work with reports, work with structure, work with arguments, details, learn products, learn the features, learn information, understand taxation, understand pensions legislation, wealth legislation, all those things are very analytical. And to get those two in combination are very, very, very difficult to do. But a successful financial planner needs to be able to do both of those. In addition to those, they've got to have experience. I'm not talking about experience of giving advice. You know, you've got to work in the industry to get that. I'm talking about people experience, the understanding people, have worldly experience. You've been around the block. You know things. You understand sectors. You understand business, for example, if it's independents you're working for, small businesses. That experience is key as well, although you can gain that, of course, given time. And the last one is what I call entrepreneurial or business development skills. Now, okay, you may be given a lovely client bank to service, but you still got to be able to build that client bank. And many of these academies, they take people on. They want you to be able to successfully get your own clients, to do prospecting, marketing, personal marketing, social media activities, seminar presentations, building your client base. Because clients go, you need to add some more. That business development ethos is key as well. So those four areas of ability: empathy, analytical experience, and business development skills in one person, be it male, female, whatever, doesn't really matter any difference here. It's very difficult to find, and that's the challenge that we've got. So we are talking about building people on. We are talking about academies, apprenticeships. Apprenticeships are great, maybe a power planner route in as well. The government have got a £3 billion restart scheme going on next year to bring people new into the industry as well. That's definitely a way forward as well. There's ways of improving your productivity. Of course, there are. Younger people might embrace technology more, using sophisticated software alongside the in-person communication, using artificial intelligence software to help as well. There's ways of increasing your productivity, using video, course communication methods, IT, all sorts of ways of improving productivity. Many new advisors are embracing that as well. So it might allow you to have 250 to 300 clients. Of course, there will be some clients that won't want to talk to IFAs. They will be very happy to use AI-based software to get their financial planning advice from. There's passive funds now massively reducing their costs now. So the annual management fees on passive funds are very, very low now. And it may well be the AI will put you onto a passive fund, and that's where you invest the money. But you know, if you've got a lot of money, people are quite happy to pay a little bit of money to get some personalized advice. High net worth clients do like to talk to people. They can afford it, after all. So that's not the marketplace for IFAs who don't want to talk to them. They want to go directly to their AI software to get their advice. But in a nutshell, we've got kind of like a perfect storm in a way. When you get good at this, you can earn a basic salary of £100,000 plus, which ain't bad. You know, obviously, we'd like to earn more, but that's not a bad salary. That there's firms hoovering up these small businesses now with large client banks. When you have a large client bank, you've got to service it. You can't just leave it because it withers away and goes somewhere else. So you've got to bring in employed IFAs to be able to service that client bank. The self-employed nature of an IFA is going. They tend to be employed because of the costs of running your own business. The professional indemnity insurance, the compensation scheme levies, the FCA levies, they're expensive. And if you're a big firm, you can have you can upscale and you can have economies of scale to remove those costs, can't you? So bigger firms will be the nature of the beast moving forwards with employed IFAs. So it's quite secure. It's very safe. It's great for all sorts of genres of people as well. You'll do a lot of work via video moving forward as well. Working from home is a key area. So the benefits are massive. But if you want to go there from being an MA to an IFA, you've got to take some steps. First thing though, set yourself a goal. Don't worry about how to get there. That's the problem with goal setting people have. You know, you set a goal and you go, well, actually, I don't know if I can do that. I better not set that goal because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Set it. Set your goal. Create your vision of what it looks like, be it in 2, 3, 4 years' time. That's your goal. You want to be a successful IFA working for a firm locally. Doesn't have to be local because you're using technology anyway. You can work for a firm based in London. You could be living in Truro. It doesn't matter because you're using technology to talk to clients. You're very successful. You're fully qualified. You've got inflation-proof business, future-proof business. It's all there for you, and that's the goal you want to set yourself. If I had a mortgage advisor right now, and you're seriously wanting to do this for the rest of your life, then mortgages are great, don't get me wrong, but mortgages will be taken over by technology. The basic mortgages will be and are being taken over by technology. Don't think for a moment that people want brokers forever. They won't. Lenders, you see, are moving on this. I'm not talking about specialized lenders that need brokers. I'm talking about the big banks, the big lenders. They have been investing heavily in AI. They've cut out all their sales forces now. The banks don't have people selling mortgages anymore now. They're using intermediaries, but they're investing massively in AI because in the future, that's how mortgages will be bought and sold. Specialized ones, I get it, will have their place. Later life market, for example, will have its place. By the way, the later life mortgage market is in for IFAs. That's where it's going. It's not just mortgage brokers. So you've got to think, very clearly about where you want to go for your future. So set the goal. That's the message from me. For the last message, really, from this live stream for 2020. Set yourself a goal. If you don't want to go there, it's fine. Set it, and then come talk to me, and I'll help you get there. My role, remember, moving forward, my next 10, 15, 20 years of my working life operating from basement here in Cheltenham, helping people to become mortgage advisors and IFAs. That's where I want to have more people in the industry helping these people that need it. And I want to have people that I bring into the industry having massive empathy, great analytical skills, of course, and good business development experience you can gain. I want to teach people that, not just passing exams, because passing exams is not just the only way you're going to become successful. You need all those other skills. And that's what I am going to be doing, helping people do that over the next 10, 15, 20 years. And why not? I can, and I want to. And I want to help people as much as possible. Last message for you from 2020. Hope you have a great Christmas. Don't know what your plans are. We've got a very small Christmas. We've got some stepdaughter with us. She came down from university, so we're looking forward to that. We've got various video screens around for various people in our network, and my dad in France, we'll talk to him on Zoom as well. So we're going to have a very little Merry Christmas, or whatever the phrase is. Yeah, we're going to have a very little Merry Christmas, or whatever the phrase is, to help you along the way. And no live stream next week because I'm going to take a few days out. But we'll be back in January for the Monday live stream. Remember, if you want to talk to me, we've got a mortgage CeMAP cohort starting on the 11th of January. We've got about 16 spaces left on that, so you can come in on that one. We take you through your CeMAPs all the way until sort of April time. We're going to get you fully qualified on CeMAP. And a lot of people stick with me as well on the membership database, and we take you to IFA, which is where we're going along the way to help you. So that's it, really. Have a very Merry Christmas, everybody. Do wish me Merry Christmas as well on comments if you want to. Always accepted. Always able to do that one. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. See you in 2021. Bye.